Okay. Hi there, my name's Gary Jackson, and with my wife Loretta, I'm the proud owner of this 1964 and a half Ford Mustang. And this car is a particularly interesting car for us personally because of our love of Mustangs and the whole 50-year heritage of this iconic brand. This particular Mustang is now, we believe, probably one of the oldest left in the world, and we suspect it's one of two of the oldest cars here in New Zealand. Mustang, the legend actually started for Ford back in late March of 1964 when the first cars went online. The first cars came offline and headed to the Ford dealers right across the US in early April. And on April the 17th, 1964, the legend was born when Mustang was launched to rave reviews right across the US. And the interesting thing about this particular 64 and a half Mustang is it came offline. It was produced in early April, those dates that I just referred to. It went to a New York dealer, and on April the 17th, 1964, that launch day, a young lady walked into the New York Ford dealer and bought this car, and she took delivery of it a few days later, and I'll show you the paperwork on that in a moment. So there the legend was born, and this car is sort of a testimony to the 50 years of heritage, of the brand values, the spirit of sporty styling, freedom on the road, a car that everyone recognizes and looks at, all of the things that make Mustang what it is. And it all goes back, as I say, to 1964. This particular car, it was owned in the US by its original owner for 40 years. She sold it in the mid-2000s. The car eventually came to New Zealand, and I was fortunate enough to be able to buy it at that point. So we've owned this car now since about 2007, I think it was. The car itself is entirely original. It's never been refurbished or restored. The paint you see is the original Wimbledon white paint, which was the feature look that Ford used in their advertising. It's got the white wall tires, even these body stripes, which were a thing of the 60s and early 70s, they were fitted to this car by the original owner when she took delivery. It's got the old 260 cubic inch V8 before Ford moved to the legendary 289 V8. So this has got the 260 cubic inch V8. It's got automatic power steering, power brakes, and luxury interior. So it's a great old car, and as I say, it really reflects the Mustang image. When you look closely at this car, you'll see it's been polished within an inch of its life over the years. In some places the paint is even a little thin, but we've left it like that because the idea is to preserve its originality, because that's really where the value sits. I'll show you a picture here which just emphasizes the point I made a moment ago. Here is Ford's original launch advertising in a luxury magazine. There is the Wimbledon white Ford notchback, white wall tires, fashionable models in the photo, new Mustang starting from $2,368, and of course that's what made Mustang the success that it has been and still will be in the future. So starting from there, we can also look at some original paperwork, and here we should do this with the backdrop of the car behind us. Here's the original owner of the car. Her name is Denise Monty. In fact, here's a letter that she and I were corresponding and exchanging. We're still in touch with her. Here's photos of Denise. She was an acrobat, by the way. That's one of the reasons why the mileage on this car at 50,000 miles is so low. And here she is with Sammy Davis Jr., with Ed Sullivan, Tony Curtis, Jerry Lewis with her husband, and a number of other famous faces from the 60s. So again, it's all part of that, the romance and the history and the heritage of the 60s. And there, by the way, I should have also pointed out, is the original paperwork of the car taking delivery on April the 22nd, 1964, from this Ford dealer in New York by the name of Chaz Winner. So there is our 64 and a half Mustang. As we like to say, it's the beginning of the legend. Obviously the legend continues 50 years plus with the launch of the new Mustang right-hand drive into New Zealand in the months ahead. The legend lives on. It's great to be a part of it, and I've been really pleased to be able to share our car with you today. Hope you've enjoyed it and enjoyed Mustangs wherever you see them. Thank you.